Hello and welcome to the Weavr Virtual Studio. My name is Nomad and we are going to be getting deep into the analysis here for the ESL Thailand America's Grand Final. Two teams, Quincy Crew versus Thunder Predator, battling it out in this best of 5 to find out who's going to be the victor. And it was, of course, Quincy Crew taking the victory in this Game 1. And to help me really get into it, to help me dive deep into the stats, it is, of course, going to be a man we know by many, many names, but today we will be calling him Gareth as he gets over in the analyst desk to help us get deeper into this one. But, you know, the main factor out of any Quincy Crew victory is always going to be partly down to this man, Weavr. And he had another outstanding performance today, but I think the first thing we want to look at here is, of course, that performance index. Now, this is a number generated by Weavr based on 13 different metrics to come up with this parameter, and this is versus the 50% average of a normal hero. So 31% above that at 81%, a very good performance from him in the end. But it wasn't always that way, actually. Earlier on in the game, he did kind of struggle to come into it, as we can see here on this overtime graph, and have a look at that performance index. He struggled at the start. Meanwhile, the Troll Warlord was way above him at the start of the game, and what we really want to look at is this crossing of paths here and see how Quincy Crew were able to turn things around in their favor. Yeah, something you would kind of expect from a Morphling, and especially around the 16-minute mark that we saw on the graph, is he's still waiting for his key item, the E-Blade, whereas Troll for Thunder Predator has Maelstrom and Yasha and feels pretty ready to fight. So when we see Thunder Predator start to move towards this dire farming area where Morphling thinks he's safe, it is actually Quincy Crew who want to try and hold a line, while the Troll, leading a charge, wants to try and start a battle as they do try to cross this river, playing towards the rune area, and the fight does brew, but it's Quincy Crew that's able to, thanks to this Elder Titan, stop the fight in its tracks and delay this push forward of aggression from Thunder Predator. As we can see in the clip here, ET, perfectly placed, stops the initiation. They fall back to a tactical vantage point up the ramps and to the high ground, and then Thunder Predator, without vision in any of these areas, didn't feel safe enough to continue fighting and therefore couldn't use that Troll's performance to their advantage. Actually, there's something very interesting about this one if we actually look at the Morphling's visibility graph. Now, what we can actually see here is these dark areas where a hero is off the map and the lighter areas where they're on the map. And I think the key thing to note is if we look in at this Morphling, there's 2 bars of light here where he's actually shown himself pre-Ethereal Blade on map for about 20 seconds. And then he takes himself off map for 20 seconds and picks up that Ethereal Blade. So he's shown himself without it, he goes and collects it in the darkness, and that fools Thunder Predator into this false sense of security and allows them to come into this fight, defend this middle tower, and get themselves 2 huge kills and start this big turnaround. Yeah, it absolutely is, and much of Dota, especially when you're talking about the mentalities of carry heroes, is the ability to know when you are strong and when your opponents are weak. So with Thunder Predator realizing that there is no Ethereal Blade on the Morphling, they see it, and Troll still feeling pretty strong to move forward, they go for a tier 2. And for good reason. They are in a pretty good position, concaving around the Troll Warlord, who frontlines yet again, but in combination with the Ethereal Blade grab that Morphling gets delivered here, they've also got the Axe Blink Dagger, allowing him to initiate, kite the Troll with the E-Blade so he can't get any damage out, and the rest of Thunder Predator actually slept and held in place as the team fight all converges around the Troll to get that key player out of business and allows Quincy Crew to take a convincing team fight win around that objective. Yeah, they did lose a tower, but the fight was more than worth it for them, as this was the beginning of a large comeback for them, which was really nice to see. They were able to control the map, put themselves in the dominating position, and this actually forces now Thunder Predator into making some rather desperate moves across the map. They try to push top tower without a huge amount of vision, without a huge amount of control, and well, what happens next speaks for itself, really. Yeah, Morphling here we can see is a bit of a straggler outside of that point of interest, the tier 2 top lane, where 9 heroes are moving into that area, but it's the position here from Act and Lelis that allows us to look a little bit into soft committing for team fights. He jumps, he calls, the rest of the team doesn't follow through though, and this allows Morphling to slide in. He's been bought time to arrive to the fight to get a single kill on the Undying, take out the Tombstone, and then the utility from the rest of his team, with the Yule Scepters from both Void Spirit and Marana, controlling the Troll and allowing this blink call from Axe to come to fruition. It's Quincy Crew that bait the team fight, follow through, corral the opponents into a position of weakness, and take the team fight in a very simple manner while leaving the Troll all alone with no defenses as he is removed from the game. Yeah, the absolute worst thing you want to do in a fight is actually just be called by an Axe and sit there attacking him. Meanwhile, for the Morphling, the absolute best thing you want to do is come into the sidelines, blow up his support, kill off his Tombstone, and lead your team to a very nice victory here in the early game. And of course, if we open up the Weavr app, we can actually see The fact that he's actually got himself a really incredible net worth advantage. He's in the top 7% of players at this point in the game when it comes to net worth, and this huge net worth gain allows him to get these early timing on a Skadi, and with an Ethereal Blade and a Skadi, the Morphling is just the absolute boss of this first game.
Yeah, a great platform for him to kind of jump into the Skadi like you're mentioning, and that allows him in the final team fight of the game really to completely dominate the Troll Warlord. Yet again, it is in a combined effort with the rest of his team, the Axe, Mirana and Void Spirit, all offering a lot of control. It's a good blink call. Yet again, it's a story of Troll Warlord feeling strong, moving to high ground, but he gets kited into oblivion as he's dragged off to the right-hand side of the fight, isolated from the rest of his team with a Skadi Morphling piling the damage onto him, really left with no opportunities of escape. And from this, it is really lights out for Thunder Predator as the game does end.
Yeah, a really nice performance there from Quincy Crew, and that is how they take game number 1, utilizing their timings, knowing that their Morphling is going to be the stronger hero, and playing around these timings absolutely beautifully to make that turnaround and take game number 1. But from us here, it's going to be goodbye.